Chair recognizes to present an invite resolution Representative Roger Bruce. Representative Bruce.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, members of the House. It's interesting how things go in circles. The gentleman that the Speaker referenced a moment ago was, I think he was the sole vote, is that correct? Or one of about 5 that voted to seat then Representative Julian Bond. And today they're going to have the funeral for Representative Egan, and today is Julian Bond's birthday. And so it's gone full circle. And so it's appropriate that today we honor, he was then Senator Julian Bond, but he served in this House as well. He passed away not too long ago, as you might know, and he was my introduction to this House of Representatives. When I was a student at Morehouse back in 1974, I served as an intern for a while with him, and I traveled the country with him a few times doing speaking engagements and different things. So it goes way, way back. And somebody was kind enough to send me a picture today that showed exactly how old I was. I had an afro about that big, and so did Julian. He had a big one too. And but his family is here with us today, and I wanted to, bring them in because we really didn't get a chance. A lot of us get a chance to mourn the passing of Julian. And when you have somebody whose name, I don't care what state you're in this country, you mention the name Julian Bond, people know who you're talking about. And they know because he gave his time, his energy, his service to making sure that other people had a great opportunity to do all that they were able to do in their life. So with that, I'm going to ask his son, Michael, to come and speak on behalf of his family. But let me tell you, his son, Horace, where's Horace? It's his son, Horace, Jeffrey, his daughter, Julia. He has another daughter who was not able to come today, Phyllis. And then his grandchildren, 2 of them, I believe, are up in the gallery, and there's one here, Jacob, Joshua, and Lauren. And Lauren is here. Skylar, I'm sorry, Skylar. Okay, why don't you guys stand up so everybody can see you? There you go. All right. So with that, I'm going to turn this over to one of our city councilmen, and he carries the name of his dad. Do you have his full name?
Well, no, we have different first names.
Okay, but Michael Bond.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Okay. Well, I want to thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, Representative Bruce, and good morning, members of this distinguished body. I'm Michael Julian Bond from across the street of the Atlanta City Council, and I'm here to speak on behalf of my family, which Representative Bruce has already introduced, and we want to take a moment to say thank you very much for honoring our father here today. This would have been his 76th birthday. So 50 years ago, he was thrice elected to his seat in the State House of Representatives because he had been voted out, and they said they need to recall the election. They did that, and he won it twice more. When he came to this chamber, he was, by most descriptions, radioactive. Most of the membership treated him a little distantly. But once they realized that he was not here to paint the gold dome black, and they got to know him on a personal level, he developed many deep and meaningful friendships with many of those, not only in his own party, but across the aisle, such as the great Mike Egan, Paul Coverdale, Johnny Isaacson, and others that he worked very closely with. And of course, when he moved over to the Senate, he shared an office with Governor Barnes, and I remember he'd been across the hall from Zell Miller, and He was very close at times to the great Silver Fox, Culver Kid, and many others. My siblings and I, who are here today, literally grew up in this building because he would be here in his office away after the session was over. And we literally had the run of the place as children. And you remember back in those days, I remember Zell Miller's secretaries would ask us, do you all want to make copies? And of course, we delighted to play with the machine. And then she said, well, don't you want to take them up to the 3rd and 4th floor? And we say, oh boy. And we get to run throughout the building. But our father was very, very dear to us, obviously. He took his service here very seriously. He was very, very interested in what went on here in the Gold Dome. And he often remarked that this was a place of great power where we forge laws that affect people's lives, and that we need to always remember the least of these when we're using and implementing our strength, which is our power. And he always followed a Quaker axiom, to speak truth to power. You made reference today about being in the minority and what that's like to be impacted by the majority. And we always have to take a moment, even across the street, to remember those who may not share our view on an issue, but will certainly be impacted by our actions. He loved this place, he loved this chamber, and he missed it. He missed being here. He missed the camaraderie, he missed the debate, and always looked fondly upon his time here at the state capitol. So with that, we just want to say thank you. We appreciate you honoring him today. We appreciate all of the signers and those who intended to sign onto this resolution. It means a tremendous amount to us personally as his children and family because we spent those 20 years that he was here at the Capitol literally here with him. You know, I never cut school, but I would often leave school to come down and see him here in the Capitol, you know, to get lunch money or to do whatever. Well, it's not cutting school if you go back because you're not missing. You're not missing, so it's not cutting school. But we often remarked on it. We loved being here with him, and we loved the interactions that he had. And you know, his good friend Calvin Smyrie and Abel Mabel, who was his intern, and many, many others who are here and still members of this body, who are part of our family by extension. We just want to say thank you, and we deeply appreciate you and deeply appreciate this house. And may God bless you all.